Welcome, welcome. Hope everyone is doing well. Tonight, we're just going to take a look at a couple of charts. I know a lot of people have been asking me about what I think about the next bull run. When is it going to be? Like any projections that I have, what's going to happen to Dogecoin, stuff like that. So I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on that, and of course, I'll take some questions after I run through all of that information. So as normal, I'll do my mic check. If you can't hear me, if you see me talking, stuff like that, you're free to let me know in the comments. I'll be checking those occasionally as I cover those points I just mentioned. So to pretty much start with the bull run and stuff like that, most common question I get is, when do I think the next bull run is going to be? Historically, we'll be looking at roughly, I say around like 2024. Normally after Bitcoin hits its peak, we're going to use Bitcoin as an indicator because Bitcoin controls most of the market cap for the crypto sector. Technically speaking, Bitcoin pretty much hits our bottom roughly at around 12 to 14 months after a peak. So that'll put us of that in that range around like October, November this year. As far as for Bitcoin, historically, like the average to hit its bottom. So that does leave the door open to say that we are not at the bottom now, Bitcoin. And if you're watching my videos, you know I've explained that in several different cases to give reasons for that. So I'll try not to get into that now. So pretty much as far as for it hitting its bottom, we'll look at around like a 24-month time frame or so for the next bull run to start. But then we also have to say, okay, well, what happens after the next bull run? What are these percentages looks like? What does where are we going to be in the cycle? Because technically for Doge, even though this will be a Bitcoin, I think like fourth or fifth cycle, Ethereum's third or fourth, this will be Dogecoin's first time running through the cycle here to do like a retest on those all-time highs. So, and we also have to look at where Dogecoin stands here, because we're going to do a lot of this. It's not like a science experiment, but a lot of this is going to be just gathering information here to see how Dogecoin responds, because we don't have 10 years of data like we do with Bitcoin, so we can work out those averages, or at least 5 with Ethereum, so we can work out those averages and stuff like that. So we're going to obviously see how Dogecoin responds, and this is going to be something it'll be a little easier to give these projections going forward. But historically, we'll see that like the bare minimum for the coins who don't fall out, especially ones like in the top 10, the bare minimum that typically we see are around at least 100% increases, which is why in the title I put like $1.42. I'm not going to put like $10 and stuff like that, because we have to start looking at things as far as like the purpose of Dogecoin, what we're actually using it for. Obviously, supply and all that kind of stuff plays into that. But as far as for the people who are accumulating now, I do believe we're going to be fine on the next bull run. I think that the people who have been patient and who are hitting like their desired coin counts and stuff like that, I think they have the opportunity to be greatly rewarded on the next cycle. So I do think that's going to take place around 2024. So if we are within our historical average of Bitcoin, that'll give us roughly around a year, probably to trend sideways or so. We'll have some breakouts, because I do believe, I think that if you want to watch my notes that I put in the comment section or what I wrote on Twitter, as far as with a breakdown of like crypto.com, I do believe that we are experiencing these higher numbers because of the shorts. I do believe that those positions were liquidated, and I do believe that was because of the exchange removing those coins. So, and I say that to say that I do believe that Dogecoin and probably a few others are shorted well below what the actual equilibrium, or what the technical fair market value of them would be. I know that the numbers are technically what fair market is based off of people who hold shorts and longs, but just in my opinion, when you shouldn't be able to create a synthetic short on an asset without purchasing it. So, but that's, as for now, we have to deal with it until we get some changes in the law. But I do believe that we are experiencing that bump, that run up that we saw earlier this week was because of crypto.com. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, watch like my last 2 videos, and I'll go really in depth with it, and it'll make sense. But if you're unfamiliar, I think it was Monday, Dogecoin did $1.1 billion in volume in 24 hours, right? And at that time, the market cap was roughly around like 9 billion in total. So Dogecoin did almost a tenth of its entire volume in a 24-hour time span, which is crazy, right? And of course, what we also are seeing on the flip side of this is we see that Bitcoin went back down to around $18,000 today. The difference is, and I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, the last time Bitcoin was around $18,000, Doge was around 4 cents. So this is a big difference here. The fact that Dogecoin and you have Dogecoin coins like Shiba and stuff like that. The other day we had that big run up in Dogecoin, and Bitcoin and Ethereum, they didn't move. They pretty much were still negative, or they pretty much trended sideways. But now we see Bitcoin breaking down and Dogecoin holding its own and holding a lot better than some of these coins that are getting hit relatively hard. So now we're seeing like a divergence in the cycle, because we had the rally in the meme coins a few days ago, and there wasn't one in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And now you have a decline in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and the meme coins are staying relatively stable compared to the hits that the Titans are taking. And this is what I meant a few weeks ago when I said, people were asking me when I said that Bitcoin can potentially, based off of his theory, can go down to around like $10,000. And they were saying, oh my God, that means that Dogecoin is going to go below a penny. Not necessarily. When you look at these ranges here, you have to look at the consumers. And I know you can't chart retail and have expectations and stuff for them. But when you look at the correction percentages, you have the opportunity to pretty much they have the opportunity to buy these coins at a much lower rate, right? So you have pretty much the extremes, and you'll say that, okay, well, Dogecoin is 85, 90% from where it is. Based off of history, I'm comfortable making a position here. Based off of history, that's technically what happens. Even institutions do this. Same thing with Bitcoin. Once you start getting to that extreme side, people are more likely to invest money. It's kind of like the whole Max Payne scenario. And Dogecoin, based off of the numbers, based off of history and stuff like that, Dogecoin is pretty much right at or relatively close to the Max Payne. Bitcoin still has some more room to go. And I think that we're kind of experiencing a taste of that over the past week, where we're seeing Bitcoin kind of break down and Doge kind of hold stable. We're kind of seeing like that divergence. Now, I'm not saying it can't go lower, because obviously the Jerome Powell and the economy, inflation and stuff like that, I don't know what they're doing, but it's just been absolutely terrible. So we have to keep our eye on the macros. Macros determine the micros, especially in the short term. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. But as for right now, that is a very strong suggestion that we are getting some divergence in the coins, which is really great. I have a chart here for pretty much just want to show you like the last few cycles, or maybe like the last one, like the big ones. You'll see that Bitcoin, what was this, like 2018, we're at 20,000. The last time we broke through, obviously we tripled it, right? And let's do Ethereum. Same thing here. What is this? 1300, 2018. We broke through on the bull run. And of course, we went to 4,800, right? So that's why I did the 100%, pretty much roughly for Dogecoin, because we have to factor in things like, utility, and the fact that in supply chain as well. And also we have to look at, and the reason that I put up $1 for it too, before people say, oh my God, that's not possible and stuff like that. If we get relatively close, and I have a video on this as well, if we get anywhere near Dogecoin being utilized, or people, or just the people who have Dogecoin actually trading in and out of it, the amount of Dogecoin that we have as of right now today would not be sufficient. And that is including the 135 billion circulating supply that we have now. That would give us roughly around, I think I did the number, I think it was like $1,700 each, based off of the map, based off of their wallets that hold the coins. Now, we know that there's a lot more wallets, so that number is actually a lot less, but because the exchanges typically pull the numbers in, and we know that over 50% of the people still have their coins on exchanges. But if we're judging it based off of the 4 million wallets that we do know hold Dogecoin, at $1,700, there is no more Dogecoin to buy. We will have zero supply to buy Dogecoin. So that number is lower than that, just so you know. So just kind of putting that into perspective going forward. So cycle, next bull cycle 2024, based off of charts, Bitcoin historically will have hit its bottom by later this year, probably like around like October. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on that because things can fluctuate and change, very rapidly. This is obviously short-term data, and we historically on the next bull run, you typically see at least 100% increases here. And obviously, we're going to have to gather data for Dogecoin along the way and see how we're retesting utilization and stuff like that to kind of solidify some of this. But based off of the data, that is roughly where we are. So I'm going to take some questions now. If you have any, we can kind of like converse here. You said until interest rates get cut, I don't see it hitting $1. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. No, that's a macro event. I'm really big on macros. We're definitely gonna have to fix macros. And that's not even just for Doge, that's for the crypto market, stock market, all these types of things. Otherwise, it's the only thing that's going to be going to the moon is interest rates and mortgage rates and inflation. Those are the only things that's going to be going to the moon. I'm really big on macros. See, 140 plus people. Y'all need to hit the like button for my boy. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely hit the like button if you have. I can't see the likes in my program that I stream through, but hit the like button if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys for telling everyone. Oh, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you. When do you predict Dogecoin going lower again? So we have pretty much like the CPI numbers and stuff like that come out on, I think, July 13th, right? So if we, which we probably are, but if those numbers are devastating and we're beating inflation again month over month, that 0.75 basis point, it has not done anything. Anything along the lines of going to like a full point or pretty much just increasing the frequency in which we get the points and stuff like that can shock the market, and we have that potential to go lower. Because right now, as far as for institutional money and stuff like that coming into the market, this is going to be the biggest factor. We've seen trillions of dollars. We've seen over 2 trillion come out of the stock market, out of the crypto market. We're seeing increasing supply in real estate for the first time in a few years. We're also seeing price reductions, though that is a huge indicator as well, as far as and we're also seeing rising mortgage rates. So it's another indicator. We're seeing the money come out of the stock market, and it's not flowing into any of those major asset classes. Well, that means that a lot of the whales and a lot of the institutions, hedge funds and stuff like that, they're getting cash heavy. So they are pretty much positioning themselves to buy, expand, scoop up businesses that are struggling, or buy the dip when they see fit. And obviously that isn't right now. So we're going to have to kind of use the macros to kind of gauge that. And I believe the biggest macro is going to be obviously inflation, those CPI numbers to kind of give us an indicator as far as going forward to see, have we reached max pain? Are we getting a curve yet? Checking the yield curve is another one. So I think that the inflation is kind of going to be the dictator for that. But anytime for the next, especially for the next few months, anytime we get close to those CPI releases, again, next one's July 13th, I think that's an opportunity to shock the market, and we can have a breakdown, or that can simply just encourage fear, and we can see a sell-off in the market. Let's see. How much will Dogecoin be? It will go to 0.33 end of this year. I mean, it depends because again, we have to worry about the macros. As of right now, that's anybody's that's too. I don't have the numbers or the foresight to kind of chart that right now. So I'm kind of taking the macros here 30 days at a time because as of right now, so pretty much for the last year, I did a timetable over the Fed statement, and they've missed the mark for pretty much 12 months straight when it comes to inflation. So as far as for how to deal with it, it took them about 4 months to even acknowledge that we were having inflation. So it's just, it's possible that we can see a curve, some divergence by the end of the year. But, it's just, as far as the 33 cent, it's just historically that may not be the case because historically we don't rally between them. We can kind of get some pumps in between, but historically we don't correct like that. We did have one of the shortest bear markets in history last year, but I do believe that was because of pandemic money and stimulus and stuff like that. And I don't believe that, well, I know for a fact that's not a normal market. And I think that the biggest thing that's going to be difficult for a lot of people is the fact that they haven't experienced what a normal market looks like, what a normal cycle looks like. So people, it's you're going to have the gain expectations from like 2020, 2021, but also the turnaround time between a bull run and a bear cycle. And what people are not talking about on YouTube is there's normally a period in between where there's literally like sideways or nothing movement. You can see it even here on the Ethereum chart. There's normally this period where it's just goes sideways. It's like nothing happening. You can see it in Bitcoin as well. Let's take a look here. Oh, UTC USD. You can see it. Well, you have like a little spike here, but still, it didn't necessarily like break an all-time high or anything. But you can see like these periods where you just kind of scroll sideways. So, and I think that that's kind of going to be like the period that we're in now. I think it's going to be challenging for most people because they're going to have to make a decision as far as for, am I going to, sell now? Am I going to accumulate? And I think that for people who are long or people who want to realize the true benefits of a bull cycle instead of trying to time it, I think those are going to be the ones that accumulate now. So I hope that answers your question, provides some clarity there. Let's see, how much equals whale? Yeah, that's a great question. I've seen some charts saying like a million and stuff like that. I don't believe there is a concrete universal term for what qualifies as a whale. I guess like a controlling interest or the ability to influence price. But as far as I know, there isn't like an official term to like qualify an amount as a whale. Is the Doge one rocking in December? I've heard a lot of dates. I don't know if it's like August or something like that, but I'm pretty sure Elon will say something when we get relatively close, so that way it'll kind of eliminate a lot of these fake dates that are going around. When you say 2024, is that late or early or late 2024? Well, I think that we'll typically, because Bitcoin typically, I have to guess. If I had to guess, I'd probably say maybe early, but typically Bitcoin likes to rally in December, and we have that period where it climbs, right? And obviously, a bull cycle is something like a bear cycle. You have a period of time where it's climbing, or people are simply bullish. So it more than likely Bitcoin likes to start its rallies historically in December. So that's typically where it likes to kind of build up its momentum and kind of like rev the engines, and you start seeing that climb. So if I had to time it for 2024, I would say it'll probably start like December 2023, and start building up from there. But obviously we'll check that as we get closer. But historically, that's what we're looking at. Let's see. Do you have a prediction of price of Doge by end of year? I don't as of right now. It's too much up in the air, and I don't like throwing out random numbers for just because I can. If I once I do have some concrete, or if I start seeing some curves and stuff like that, and some of the macros indicators I look at, then I'll relay that to you guys. We all pretty much holders of crypto, specifically Doge here. When does it spike? Where will it stay in price? Will it dip all the way down again? Um, when does it spike? So I think the spike that we saw again is from crypto.com. I think it was pretty much them liquidating out some of the short positions because they had to pretty much get rid of them. Will it stay in price? That depends on a lot of things, macros, shorts, and stuff like that. There's some of those shorts will probably find another exchange to short on if they're really, or if it's been really lucrative for them. I know that number probably won't be 100%, but that doesn't mean that those shorts are gone forever. So, these prices and stuff like that, I don't see, like Doge going to an all-time high or something like that while the economy is suffering and, Bitcoin is less than 20,000. I don't see that happening. But, as far as where it's staying in price, the stability of Dogecoin is going to come from utility. There's no way around that. Like you're not going to hold it to stabilize it or something like that. Crypto is you can see even with Bitcoin that you can't do that. So Dogecoin the majority of the stabilization was going to come from something like crypto, and having like institutions and stuff like that have wallet that people are using for transactions. I think that is going to, and having a large number of those coins are moved off the market is going to help influence the stability. Dipping all the way down, again, that's something to do with like the macros and shorts. In the short term, if there's low volume, it's easy to move the price, especially down. We've witnessed that with shorts. It's easy to get the price down if there's low volume. And I think people right now, because of the macros and because of what's going on, people are not. They're. I believe people are buying, but not to the extent that they could, because they know that the potential for a further breakdown is there. And I don't blame them for that. That's smart investing. You invest a little and save your money for the opportunity that can come. I get it. So I don't blame them for that. So it's that's possible, but I can't time it right now just because there's so much uncertainty in the macros. As I get information, I do post it. I do make videos, updates, and with my thoughts and stuff. So if I get something or if I feel differently, I'll post it so you can let's listen to it and come to your own conclusion. Okay, so I got some spam bots in here. Give me one sec while I kick these out. Let's see, give it up for that. Thank you, I appreciate you. Let's get 3 likes to hit 100. Okay, I'm at 97. Okay, thank you, I appreciate it. Sorry, I'm just getting rid of these bots in here because I see that they're putting crap in the comment section. I need to get a moderator. I don't go live often enough, so let's see. How long do you think it will go? How long do you think Doge will go before the market recovers? It depends what you mean by recovering. We can see because I do believe we're getting like some bounces in certain areas now. Cause I think even earlier what happened was we had like a dead cat bounce, but until those macros are fixed, I'll say it a million times, the economy, crypto, real estate, all that kind of stuff, it's going absolutely nowhere. Retail does not. We peaked at $3.3 trillion. I think we hit a bottom of around 800 million, right? The retailers do not have 2.2 trillion to put into crypto to put it back where it was. So we're going to have to wait on the institutions. That is beyond the resources of the retailers. Same thing with the stock market, same thing with the real estate. Like most of that money is whale money, big money, whatever you want to call it. So we're waiting on the macros. When those align, you'll kind of get clues. You'll start seeing some divergences and stuff like that. And you'll know, okay, well, things are turning around. We're getting some curves. These are great entries. And I will go on record to say, and I have said this before, I do believe that all the prices, I think that Bitcoin at 18,000 is a buy. I think that Dogecoin, like 5, 6, 7 cents, I think those are great buys. Cardano, I love it. Ethereum, I think, is a great buy, especially at below $1,000. I think that's an incredible buy. I'm thinking in terms of, because I'm not trading these assets. I do believe that holding for a minimum of 5 years, and I think that these assets will appreciate. I think that the only question that we'll ask ourselves a few years from now is why didn't we get more, right? I think that I think it's a very, very strong chance that after this cycle, we won't see these prices again. So I think that if you are long-term, if you believe in these coins and stuff like that, your favorite coins, I would strongly suggest you being happy with your coin count. So I think that's going to, be the biggest factor going forward. I think that's going to determine a lot of profit and stuff like that for people who are trading or people who want to hold for a long term. I think that's going to determine a lot. Just joining for tonight, is Bitcoin manipulated in a similar manner that Doge and SHIB are? If so, just surprised that Bitcoin maxers aren't more involved with getting exchanges to stop staking. Everything is shorted, right? Not everything, but there are very few things that have like zero shorts, right? The issue with Doge and SHIB And it's the same thing in the stock market. It's kind of like pump and dumping. It's easier to target what you would call a penny stock in the stock market. And that's essentially what Doge and Sheep are. There's something that if you have a lot of money, you can come in and you can get a sizable interest, right? And turn profit relatively quickly because again, coin count kind of comes into play, and you have so many that you can multiply money relatively easy. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stuff like that, that's going to be a lot more difficult. So even if you have 100,000, you come in and get 4 or 5 Bitcoin. That's not going to have the same effect as having millions of Dogecoin, and it goes up 3 pennies. You're like, whoa, I'm up. So it's going to be a big deal. And I think that people, when it comes down to short interest and stuff like that, you can look at longs and shorts. You'll see that they're going to more aggressively go after coins like Doge and Sheep and stuff like that because of the price point. As the price goes up, the shorts will typically go down. But I do believe some of the shorting that's going on, especially in Doge, is going to be like more personal. Because I think that, well, we've had people go on the record to say certain things. I think that in the long term, as we are having a consolidation in the crypto market, I think it's going to become very competitive because to see who rises as the actual cryptocurrency. So I think that most of the coins that we have now, I think it's like 20K or something like that. I think most of them, as we're talking about the next cycle, 2024, 2025, stuff like that, I think most of those coins are not going to be around. I think that a lot of those coins are going to be, disappear. A lot of them are going to have, a lot of them have proven to be rug pulls, scams, just manipulation and BS and stuff like that. I went on record to express how I feel about a lot of the coins, and I just think just be careful what you're investing in. But when it comes down to manipulation, they're going to target Doge and Sheep just because of the whole meme token stigma and stuff like that, and they're going to, I won't say beat it up, but it's more so to discourage what we're trying to do, right? Because I've tracked shorts for quite some time. I've seen 200, 300% increases on an Elon tweet. And I know it's bots, and some of it can be bots and stuff like that, but still, it's just goes to show you the aggressiveness that you're seeing on something that's a meme token and that's supposedly worthless, and that is extremely aggressive. And I think that we're going to see more of that as utility grows in the coin and as we have this consolidation in the crypto market. Bitcoin, they go through that, but because of the price point, they aren't really worried about it, and because of the stakes and stuff as far as who owns the coin and the institutions and stuff that kind of go in there. So even the institutions, they may take a hedging, which is when you own the coin but you short it as well. So they're kind of like hedging against the asset, but ultimately they're not going to destroy an asset that they're long on. And I do believe most of them are long on coins like Bitcoin and stuff like that. Because the next bull cycle, Bitcoin is going to be, it's already pretty much out of reach as far as buying a hold coin for most people. The next bull cycle, you can forget about it. That's going to be whales and institutions. That's a private conversation. If it wasn't for fractional buying and stuff like that, retailers, we would already be out of the game, right? So, but Dogecoin and stuff like that, the coins that are pennies and that's accessible to everybody, that's the retailer sector. They need retailers' involvement in those coins, like Bitcoin and stuff like that. Otherwise, they're just playing with themselves. So they need our involvement. So typically what you do, and you've seen this manipulation in the stock market and stuff like that over the last couple of years, is you just kind of encourage people to choose the asset that you chose, right? So, they'll tell you to go long while they go short. So you'll see that what the favorites are in the stock market: Apple, Amazon, Microsoft. You'll have things like Costco, Walmart, all the things that they want you to put in their portfolio while they go make money in shorts. And we see that divergence with Bitcoin and Doge. So I don't think that they're going to, I don't think that Bitcoin maxis are worried to that extent, because they know ultimately those big whales, institutions, they're long on the coin, but they will short it to make money. Really long answer there. I hope that provided some type of clarity for you. Sorry to go on a rampage there. When's the best time to buy Doge? Interesting question. The best time would have been a few years ago, but I do believe we are at great entries at this current price. We'll take those at 50 cents. I don't know. I don't know because we're gonna have some interesting battles in the 20 cent range. So we're gonna need utility and some pressure and stuff, which I think we're gonna have. I'm sure we are, but as far as the 50 cent right now, we're gonna need the macros fixed. What's going on? How are you, James? Joseph, how are you? What's up? He said, "Why not $1.69?" I was just doing pretty much like 100% from roughly the all time high because I don't want to I don't want to turn into like hype or like a moon boy or something like that and just put these crazy numbers up there without being able to justify it. Now, can it go higher? Buying pressure, sure, but I'm just put it. That's like that's my conservative answer here for a number of reasons. That's why I asked. Great info, much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. See, move my coins off Robinhood. Took a while to move over 500,000 Doge, but nice to have them on a ledger and my own keys. There we go. That's good news. Doge short may move to Binance, has so low volume. That's true. It can certainly move somewhere else. That's certainly true. Your opinion on transfer my Doge to Trust Wallet? Trust is okay. I prefer cold storage, but Trust is okay. What do you think about Billy Marcus saying Dogecoin might not ever hit 70 cents again? I mean, there's always that chance. If we don't get utility, that's the biggest thing. Like what we don't want to do is try and turn it into like a hold till all-time high or just simply hold and Elon and institutions are going to take us to the moon. That's not the goal here. Dogecoin, we have to focus on utility. Elon buying Dogecoin becoming the internet currency for Twitter. That's the best possible thing outside of getting a deal with like Walmart or Amazon. That is the best thing imaginable for Dogecoin price stability and longevity of the coin. We need utility. The holding and buying and stuff like that, that's a part of it, but that's not going to take the coin where we want it to go. So that there's certainly some variables that he may not see that has kind of like worked out just yet. So I can, depending on that, looking at it from that perspective, I can see why he would say something like that. Thanks for the video yesterday. I bought Shiba and it went up today. There you go. Greetings from New Jersey. Hello, hello. Every single bull run surpasses previous high, but by how much? It depends. Normally, you can expect something, like a 100% of a minimum, but it depends on which coin. Because Bitcoin, the higher it goes, those averages are going to start coming down. Same thing with like Ethereum. So you can have something like a Bitcoin that can run from like 7 to 20, or from 9,000 to like 60 and stuff like that. So I don't think that we're going to see that same multiplier on the next bull run, but just historically, it's easily several 100%. And for something like Doge, if we align our cards right or something like that, it'll be with buying pressure and stuff like that, especially if we are able to get that utility and remove the bulk of the coins from the exchanges and stuff like that, things can get crazy really quickly. And that $1.40 something estimate can be low based off of with buying pressure and stuff like that. It's certainly not out of the question. So that's really just kind of up to us, and we're doing our part, making sure we own our keys and are getting utility. Things can get really crazy. Those Lamar are still hanging in there. I gotta check on that. Thanks for your TA. Would you be willing to teach charting? I got into crypto last year. I could use some help. Yeah, I got something that's specifically going to be for charting and cycles. It's going to take me like a few hours. I'll post about it in the community section, or you can send me an email and stuff like that. But I got something coming because that is one of the most commonly asked things that I have as far as charting and cycles and how did I come up with my numbers for this crash and stuff like that. And I'm willing to share, but I just like to know I just like to kind of like show what I'm saying versus just kind of putting it in videos and stuff like that. Because I know how important it is to just be thorough when you're putting these numbers out there. But yeah, I'm certainly willing to help out with that. I plan on doing something because I think if we have a bunch of people who are able to do it for themselves, we'll have a lot less scams and BS going on like in YouTube and across the internet. So I'm certainly willing to share in that perspective. Where's Doge regarding to the macros, micros? Oh, and thank you for the $20 too. Sorry, this answers your question. Thank you, but thank you though, seriously. Where's Doge regarding to the macros, micros? These create pressure on everything. No, Doge is doing really well. I do believe we're closer to like that max pain thing with Doge and it being closer to its floor when it comes down to correction price than Bitcoin. But Doge is doing really, really well. I'm actually, and I think a lot of you guys are too, as far as for Bitcoin and Ethereum being negative and that run up, and we didn't have like that massive sell off that because what I was thinking when I wrote my notes on Twitter and stuff today was that when they liquidated the short positions, technically they're not long in those coins, right? So even when they buy to exit the short position, they would simply sell it like immediately. And the spike actually got the community kind of like engaged, and we started seeing, I believe we saw some organic buys come in. And because that short pressure, at least from that exchange, is not coming back in, that we didn't see that dramatic of a sell-off. So I'm really surprised here at how well Dogecoin is holding up. And I think this is kind of really just a testament to what I believe as far as for how strong the shorts are and how suppressed Dogecoin is compared to what its actual value is. And I think that we're kind of getting a taste of that. I think that's kind of what we saw this week was kind of confirmation to some of the things that I said earlier this year. Just the macros, micros, and stuff like that. I think that as long as we're building internally, as far as for expansion, utility, and stuff like that for the coin, removing our coins from the exchanges is going to be really, really big. I think that we're going to see a more organic price in Dogecoin. And I think that it's going to shock a lot of people too, as far as for what the organic price is and what it's going to do next bull cycle. I think it's going to shock a lot of people. Thank you. No problem. You're welcome. You're welcome. 125 likes. There we go. Thank you guys. Tim, thanks for the super chat. Let's see. Just want to say that I respect and value your channel above all others. Thank you for treating us as adults with great information instead of shilling coins. Keep it 100. Thank you. No. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I tell, I just want to tell people, what I think. It's research that I was going to do anyway. It's research that I do anyway, and I relay it. That's why, if people have questions about coins and stuff like that, I'll share it. But it's absolutely no problem at all. And I appreciate all 40,000 of you roughly. So thank you. Tell it. Thank you. Thank you, David. No problem. No problem. The beating I've taken with Amy for the past year makes it a walk in the park. God be with us, Doge Nation. Absolutely. No, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. What's your prediction for Doge end of this year? I don't have one just yet. I have to get an idea on the macros before I start saying, before I start putting numbers out there. I want to get an idea of the macros so that I can articulate it better and give it concrete, because I like to, when I say numbers and stuff like that, I like to be able to prove it on a chart, right? So when I say earlier this year, when I said $20,000 Bitcoin, 6-cent Dogecoin, stuff like that, I know why I said it, because I can prove it on a chart. I have the numbers and historics to back that up. So, and when I do, I will relay that to you guys. I'll make a post or a video, with those numbers. But I do say we need to fix the macros first. And by macros, I mean for the economy, which is obviously bigger than Dogecoin. So we're going to have to gauge it from there. The truth, the whole truth, or nothing but the truth. That's what David speaks. Thank you. I appreciate you. I have 8,000 to average down. On my average cost is 50 cents. How would you average down in this situation? I have it on my video. I think it's the proper way to average down. It should be on my homepage. I have an average down calculator actually, so that you can put all your numbers in, like where you plan to make entries and stuff like that, and it'll give you what your average is going to be if you want to kind of play it that way. But the biggest thing is if you're long term, these prices are great. I would buy some like every week or so. If we do get that breakdown to around 5 cents or so, I'd be more aggressive at that point. But I would, if I'm long term, my biggest focus is coin count. That's my multiplier, right? So, if we, do get that utility, we get the, it's the cryptocurrency of Twitter or something like that, and we are $1.40, you'll be upset with yourself saying that, okay, I didn't buy, Doge at 8 cents because I was waiting on it to go to 5 cents. That in that scenario, that 3 cent doesn't really matter that much. I know now it does, but if you're long term in the coin, you believe in the coin, you have conviction in your investment, your coin count is going to be your multiplier. That's what's going to be most important. But as for now, I would say just because of the macros are uncertain, I would say just kind of break that up and just kind of make entries like on a weekly basis, bi-weekly, whatever's comfortable for you to and get your numbers down. I don't know how many coins you have, so at 50 cents, so that determines how much or how little that 8K is going to bring it down. Because if you have 100K at 50 cents, it's not going to do very much. But obviously, your numbers. So I suggest just kind of play with the average down calculator, and it'll give you some ranges as far as what your actual DCA will look like afterwards. But if you're long term, I would certainly focus more on your coin count. So hope that helps. So Andy, let's see. I heard the Fed didn't start quantitative tightening in June. They actually added to our debt. When it comes down to, you said they didn't start quantitative tightening. I'll have to check in on that. I do expect our debt, because we're running a deficit anyway, so I do expect it to grow. But I'll have to check to see if they haven't started their tightening yet, because that's going to reflect very poorly in the CPI numbers if they haven't started that yet. I know the rates and stuff like that, because I did see the as like a couple weeks ago, I know that the mortgage rates and stuff like that there wasn't like a dramatic spike like it's been the last few months, but they're still holding pretty high. So I'll check, but as far as where I know, we'll get confirmation on the 13th. We know that the Feds have their funny way of calculating inflation and stuff like that, but I have not seen any serious curves or something like that myself. So that's actually believable that they hadn't started the tightening yet, but we'll see on the 13th. Let's see. Is that hard dip? Did you buy any Doge? I know you would be going up in DCA, but it's a coin count that makes a difference, right? Absolutely. No, I'm always buying, just not a lot. So I said that because I started buying after we got down at below 20 cent, and I started, especially once we got below 10 cent. In this range, I do believe these are all great prices. So I buy right now. I'm doing it like every other week, but I'm buying just a little because, again, these macros and stuff like that, we can sit here for a while. If they shock the market and say, hey, inflation's out of control, we're going to a full point, just be prepared for the markets to get set on fire again. And, that provide an opportunity. And hopefully if we go below, if we get to like 4 cents or something again, I will certainly take advantage of that. I love that, because at 4 cents, I can average down. Anything at like 5 cents and up, I'm averaging up, but at 4 cents, I can come down. So I'll be happy about that. But yeah, I'm always doing it right now. I'm on every other week as far as we're accumulating. Let's see, would Dogecoin one day be the one to compete with Bitcoin for a top spot in the crypto market? It can, but I think that they're kind of like in two different lanes, because I know people are saying that. I think Bitcoin, it's going to be more so like a crypto gold. I know people are trying to break it down into like Satoshis to use as a currency, but I don't think that is that's the main goal. It's kind of like something that's kind of like evolving for Bitcoin. But I do believe that there is room to coexist. I made a video last year, like mid last year, called "The Consolidation of Crypto," and I compared it to credit cards, right? Like the credit card processing systems. And you can have people, things that specialize in certain areas, but they can coexist. We are going to consolidate from the large amount of cryptos that we have now, but it's room for something like an Ethereum, a Dogecoin, a Cardano, a Bitcoin, stuff like that. Think of it like Visa, American Express, MasterCard, Discover, stuff like that. They all technically do the same thing, but they have their little niches. You can get cash back and stuff here. Visa has low transaction fees. So you're going to see people like Costco and Sam's Club say, hey, we prefer Visa only because of transaction fees. It saves us money. You know, American Express can be something like Bitcoin for certain things. It's for the elite, aka people with bigger money. You know, anybody can get a Visa. You know, it's just I think there's room for all of these coins to kind of consult. Well, I think that the coins that are going to survive and the top coins, as coins, I think that there's room to consolidate and coexist. And I have a video going into detail about that. If you want to check it out, it's called like crypto consolidation. And I have the Visa, MasterCard logos and stuff like that on the thumbnail. And I go into in depth and I break down like percentages and stuff like that. So if you want to check it out. Let's see, we can still see a second alt season this year. End of year, every cycle has two alt seasons, right? Um, it's possible. Because we've technically bent the curve already and we've overextended because we're still technically coming off of the last bear market was the shortest bear market in history. And I do believe that's because of, you know, it started raining money from the sky. We have some slight differences this year, right? We coming off of the shortest bear market in history. Bitcoin has broke its historic 4-year trend, which is not going below its previous high. And I'm curious to see what the changes are going to be, what more changes we're going to see. Technically we can, but we also are having historic inflation this year that we haven't seen in my lifetime. So it's some differentials out there that can cause some changes this year. And just because of the amount that this market has been pumped, crypto too, I think that this can have some effects on it, but we may see a pump, but I don't think that's going to be anything like sustainable or anything long term later this year. I see a lot of times people are saying like midterms and stuff like that. I don't believe that. I believe at best we'll see a pump, but I don't think that it's going to be anything like dramatic to where it's going to, I'll say, even gain a considerable market cap back into these coins. I think that we're going to kind of like go into like that period where we're building up for the next bull run. Anything about Chainlink? No, I have to take a look at it. I think the timing of the Doge One launch crucial. It can help, but again, that's more so like hype and publicity. So I don't consider something like that long term like price movement. Because if anything, if we pump up, we're just going to attract a bunch of traders in, and then they're going to sell like hell, like immediately afterwards, or start pretty much chipping away during the actual launch. And I guess price movement and publicity wise, it can help, but I don't think that I don't think that at the moment that's going to be anything like long term or something like that. I just think that outside of like history being made and publicity, I'm not going to kind of like dial in on it price wise so much. But if you're trading it, yeah, the Doge One launch can certainly be a great time to be invested. 144 likes. There we go. Almost at 150 likes. There we go. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Elon is on silent mode. Yeah, I'm sure he's cooking something up. I'm sure he's cooking something up. Let's see. I've been removing my nearly 2 million coins on Robinhood. That's the way to go. That is the way to go. Do you think the official Elon buying Twitter news is just around the corner? I hope so. I think that, again, I think that Doge being on Twitter and stuff like that, that's going to be possibly outside of like Amazon, Walmart deal. I think that's going to be the best absolute catalyst for Dogecoin. I'm really rooting for that to happen. Thanks for not having corny thumbnails. No problem. It's not really my personality to do the clown faces or the shock faces and stuff like that. I tried it. And I was like, you know what? If that's what it takes, then I'm not going to worry about it. So I appreciate you guys for accepting me. So that's what I'm thankful for. I recommend David on a recent Matt Live. Thank you, thank you. See, for utility for Doge, we do reach out to different companies and tweet, tweeter. Not following that. When it comes down to utility, on Twitter, I think that, well, as far as for like tipping and stuff like that, we can kind of use it as similar to like having like that little dollar where you can kind of tip someone on their page or send them money. Having that option in Dogecoin and stuff like that will certainly be this useful as far as for removing a lot of the coins from like exchanges, especially if all those people have their own wallets. Like if it was integrated to have something like my Doge or something like that on Twitter, where you're holding your Doge on Twitter, like in your tipping account or whatever, and it's not on the exchanges. Yet, oh my God, like it's possible we can run out of Dogecoin that way. Like that's one of the reasons why I'm hoping that this becomes a reality. Just because, just imagine everybody on Twitter having like 20 Doge in their account. It's game over. Like Twitter is more rare than, I mean, not Twitter, Dogecoin would be more rare than gold. Like, so it's really a really big catalyst. I think people kind of like understand just because it's Twitter, but I think people don't really understand what they can actually do for Dogecoin. If we have Doge be the method of payment on Twitter, I think that can literally change everything. How many coins do you have and what's your average? I revealed that once in like an old video. And yeah, I'll give you my average. My average right now is around 5 cents. That is my current average. I purchased Doge as cheap as 2 cents, like 2 point something. But my average right now is around 5 cents. And as far as for how many I have, yeah, I'm not giving that out again because I caught hell on the pretty much after I said that, and people were calling me a whale and saying I was manipulating the coin and a bunch of craps and stuff like that. So I'm not giving that number out again. But I'll say I am invested, and my average is around 5 cents. Um, let's see. Looking forward to that, getting paid in Dogecoin one day. Yeah, that'll be crazy. Absolutely. Can you help me get my coins off Robinhood? I live in New York. I'm speaking with some people about some workarounds, but I don't have anything right now. I don't have anything about it to get around the New York situation. I get asked that a lot, and I do not have any answers for you. Will we ever see the all-time highs? Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. I'm looking forward to it on the next bull cycle, actually. Whoa, I made it while you were alive. Welcome, welcome. So it really depends on how fast we can get the transactions to work out. We're looking at using Dogecoin to track customers using Doge. Trusted customers and trusted wallets would be ideal. Absolutely, absolutely. I think even Vlad, which is interesting enough, he made some suggestions for Dogecoin when it comes down to transactions and stuff like that. So we know obviously energy and speed and all that kind of stuff plays a role. But I think that, yeah, with a few adjustments, like Dogecoin is going to be ideal. And again, it's not out of price range for a lot of people. So I think that's something like Doge is going to, with that Twitter integration, can change everything. Like I won't say overnight, but I'll say relatively quickly. Have you given your price prediction for the end of the year? I haven't. I don't have one just yet. I need to kind of like solidify some of these macros and stuff like that. I don't have a end of the year price projection right now for Doge. When I do, I will certainly post it. Let's see. Thank you for the super chat. What up, David? Think Doge is going to dip and hit 504. Basically, what's your guesstimate lowest in the bear moment here? Last 15 days at 11.4 DCA. Bought more now. 8.8 DCA. There we go. Coming down. Is it possible to hit 504? Yeah. The biggest thing that's going to determine if we go back that low is going to be the macros and the economy, right? Because people, the longer this goes on, because Dogecoin, we know that they have a lower net worth than people who invest in like Bitcoin or institutions and stuff like that. So the longer this goes on, you will have people who will kind of slip into a position where they're going to be like forced to sell for like necessity reasons. So you can see somewhat of these coins and stuff like that being sold, but I think for the most part, people kind of know what the deal is, and they're waiting on those numbers to kind of like buy more and stuff like that. But especially as we get like reversals in the economy, but I think that for the most part, the reason we saw the low volume is because people are simply waiting to see if it's going to go lower before they strike. And that's just one of the reasons why we were even getting that low in the first place, was because of shorts. I do believe that if we had full shorts kind of come out, I think that we would be, even right now, after the sell-offs and stuff like that, I think we'd be no lower than 10 cent. And that's like max. But is it possible for shorts to kind of come back in, and like especially around the 13th, CPI numbers come out, they're crazy, inflation's out of control, full point. Can shorts come back in and take advantage of that? Sure, and we can get back down. It's certainly possible, but I do think that 504 range is, for where we are right now, without anything crazy changing in the economy. I think that 504 is going to be like max pain for now. So I really love those entries. For somebody like me with my 5 DCA, I'm hoping for 4, but we'll kind of have to take it as it comes. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. I never heard the number. It only takes a single Dogecoin, though, David. Charles, David, you need to give out wrenches. No, I am. I'm going to, because I want to do lives more often. I'm going to get some mods or something like that, because I've had some random people and stuff like that kind of come in and post crazy stuff. So I'll get some mods soon. 197. Okay, we're almost to 200 likes. Okay, wow, that is crazy. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys greatly. I said we need that Nano vid to remove our coins. Yeah, I'll post a link or something, because they have a video on how to do it. And because there's so many different exchanges and stuff like that, it's just, I can do one, I guess, maybe from like Robinhood, because that's the most popular one. I know a lot of people have coins on there. And since Robinhood came out with their wallets, but they do have a video that I posted the link in my community section to remove coins. But it's something I can do. It's just something I put off, just because of even when I post the links and stuff like that, there's a lot of user error that's going on, and I just didn't want to like get in a situation or get blamed for someone making a mistake or something like that. But I'll post like the link and stuff like that, and I'll see if there's a way I can kind of do it to be foolproof. Probably from Robinhood, though, since most people have Robinhood. Oh, over 200 likes, 202, 28, 208. Okay. But beautiful. Thank you guys. Thank you. Let's see. If Elon buys Twitter, do you think he'll create a software wallet system to integrate with the people's Twitter accounts? That would be ideal. I think that'll be the greatest benefit. As long as it's off of exchanges, I'm down for whatever. As long as we have, if we remove billions of Dogecoin from the exchange via Twitter accounts and stuff like that, as long as it's out of the reach of exchanges and they can't lend it, I am all for it. So I'm down for that at all 100%. 217. There we go. All right, we're getting there. I appreciate you guys. I love your videos, man. Straightforward and knowledgeable. I have learned a lot from all the crypto community. I try to invest about 100 to 250 every week in Doge, because Ape, ADA, and Ethereum. Okay, absolutely. I'm definitely a holder of ADA and Ethereum as well. Elon not tweeting and Doge holding when others aren't shows it's bigger than Elon. Yeah, this is definitely the people's coin. I like it a lot. Definitely the people's coin. All right, so I've been on it for an hour. So definitely, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more from me. I thank you guys for sitting on with me for the past hour. I'll wrap it up here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And I'll just do a regular video tomorrow, and of course, I'll chat with you in the live stream. Share the video, I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Have a good night.